to the cloud. So, welcome to you all, ambassadors. We usually start our meetings with a little check-in statement of what's going on at your men's group. Oftentimes, this is educational to all of us. Sometimes it even gets gets to be fodder for the foundation's newsletter. I've noticed a couple of men from our Zoom screens have had articles in the foundations. So who knows where this will lead. I'm going to go first tonight and kind of maybe give you a little template. I'm Dave Newman. I live in San Antonio, Texas. Um, our men's group has a pretty exciting event coming up. The day before Father's Day, we're joining with the youth ministry of our church, and we're going to have a miniature golf outing at a very iconic San Antonio miniature golf course, and dads are going to play free. And if we can meet the expenses of the event, it turns into a fundraiser for the youth ministry at our church. So I'm hoping that it all kind of blends together into a nice little outreach for the men of our church and a meet and greet for some of the guys that show up, and maybe turns into an opportunity to have a little relaxation and some fun. So that's what's going on with me. Anybody else want to volunteer, or should I just pick names?
Sure, I'll go ahead, David. It's George Freestone from beautiful downtown West Lawn, Pennsylvania. I'm a member of Advent Lutheran Church, and I'm one of the facilitators for our men's group there. And I'd like to maybe share just three things about that men's group, and then conclude with a question about my background that is behind me. First, 2 weeks ago, maybe three, so we didn't hit, it was April 19th. We hosted a meeting, the men's group facilitators did, for everyone at our church who had an interest, as well as friends of the congregation, where we had a chaplain from the local hospital come by and talk about near-death experiences. It was very well attended. We had a nice brunch as well as the program. And I did record the chaplain's comments and put them on YouTube so that those who attended could play on demand, and maybe those who didn't or couldn't would have a chance to check it out. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is our men's group is sponsoring a trip this coming Saturday to a local aquaponics place. Do you guys know what aquaponics is?
Yep.
Okay, it's where you grow food, but kind of in a sustaining kind of a way. And there are koi fish that are involved, and all of the product at this place is sold and provided to some of the local areas in need. What is not needed is sold, and what is donated, what can be donated is donated. And that's another thing that our men's group does. It tends to facilitate trips both in the spring and the fall, and this is our spring trip. The third thing that I wanted to talk about is our men's group just celebrated its 10-year birthday, and we celebrated that at the April 19th meeting that I talked about, where the chaplain was kind and visited. And I put together, with the help of many others, a brochure that talked a little bit about our journey over those last 10 years. And it was a really nice and enlightening and well-received document. The Synod is going to share it throughout the Synod, and I guess I'm happy with that. Does anyone know what my background is? Well, do you know the name Antonio Gaudi?
Oh, yeah.
Gaudi.
It's in Barcelona.
It is. It's the Church of the Holy Family, better known as Sagrada Familia. And the reason I wanted to mention it is it reached a milestone just a few months ago. It's been under construction since 1882. It is now the tallest church in the world, with the completion of the tower celebrating Jesus Christ. And you have a picture that I personally took inside the church, and it is beautifully lit. On the east side, they have more blues. On the west side, they have more reds. It's just a fascinating place. It's very organic, and I have been pleased to visit Sagrada Familia probably 3 or 4 times now, but that's one of my photographs.
Very pretty. Thank you, George. Thanks for thanks for joining us tonight and sharing. Anyone else? Volunteers welcome.
I'll go ahead. Okay.
Terry,
Well, we just came off of another great annual meeting back in March, and
so Terry, tell us who, for the guys that are not with us
oh,
today,
okay,
who is we?
yeah, okay. I'm Terry Edwards. I'm from Lincoln, North Carolina. That's located in the western part of the state, uh, and I'm the men's ministry coordinator for the North Carolina Lutheran Men in Mission,
All right, thank
and
you.
and we hold an annual meeting every year, and this is our 103rd year that we've been in existence. We was established in 1923, and so this year we celebrated 103 years, and it was very good. We was fortunate that John and Vic and Kevin Burke and Rich White and Jan Nelson, they all affiliated with our national board, but they were able to attend, and John was our keynote speaker. And our theme was Be the Body of Christ. And we all talk about being the hands and feet of Jesus, but uh, that goes for using our eyes, arms, and ears, to proclaim the gospel. But we had a very good meeting, and the church that in Dallas, North Carolina, that hosted St. Paul's, they have a very good men's group there, very active. They're very active in the community, and do a lot of volunteer work in that area. Uh, so we're grateful for that. And Vic, thank you for uh, publishing an article in the foundations. You mentioned that, so
You're welcome.
we appreciate that so much. And and the and one of the projects that come from there, we had tried to go with local ministry theme. And one of the gentlemen from St. Paul's Church, he is a farmer, and he gave pretty much highlighted of what their church, the host church, did within the community. And within we had a retired pastor, Robert Sane, who grew up on a family farm in my area, and he raises a garden each year for the Daniel's Food Pantry, which is my congregation. And I think last year it was around 7 tons of food that was raised and distributed out within our community. But all three of the presentations we had was centered around uh, ministry, and the other was Kairos. Some of you may be affiliated with the Kairos prison ministry, and we had 3 gentlemen from that organization highlighting the work that they did, and of course John's keynote uh, uh, talk was went along with our theme also, and So we appreciate their participation. And the one of the Robert sayings about the homegrown ministry, his garden, they'll soon be featured in the North Carolina Synod and be highlighted in their publication or e-letters. And upcoming Synod meeting is coming up the latter part of the month. The North Carolina Synod will be meeting, and we will be in attendance and have our display set up and be able to meet people there. One of the other highlights we did as North Carolina men was to purchase a container storage facility to be placed at Luther Ridge Retreat, which is in the mountains of North Carolina. And it was heavily damaged by Hurricane Helene that came through about a year and a half ago. And they needed storage for tools and equipment. And so we purchased a storage facility, and already we have volunteers that are using the funds that we have collected, and they are putting in shelving in the building, and also we've already have tools coming in. This was coordinated with Lutheran Disaster Response here located. They have a Ruth Ann and Ray Site coordinate that for North and South Carolina. So we are coordinating all this work that we doing with Luther Ridge with the storage building and tools with Lutheran Disaster Response. And in their communications, they're asking for people to donate tools. And they have put on the website a whole list of different type tools that they need. So individuals or groups can go in and pick and choose and select what they want to donate. So that is the latest project that we have going on now, and volunteers is already working with that. The other thing was my church, we had a Lutheran Men's Sunday. It was the Sunday after Easter. And what was good about this was it was lay led, and our speaker was one of the members of our men's group, and he had the sermon for that day. And I've just seen the growth of individuals, and this is one guy that was very not that outgoing about his faith, but in the last 2 or 3 years, he's really come out. He's very involved in the men's group, but he led the service that day, and he's done real good. And he's one that used to shy away from, like a lot of guys do not like to pray in public, but he'll lead prayer to drop of a hat. And I can just see how men's ministry affects different people. And I've seen that just in the last little bit with two or three different guys that I know. So it's just a valuable ministry that we have going on, well, all across the country, really. But that's just a few of the highlights that we have going on here in North Carolina. And we're looking forward to the Synod gathering, and I'll be attending also. The North Carolina women of the ELCA will be meeting for a 2-day meeting at Lenore Ryan University in June, and we are ministry partners, so they attend our gatherings, and I'll go attend their gathering over the 2 days, and they give me an opportunity to speak to their group, plus I have a display set up. So it's surprising the contacts that you can make just through meeting the ladies. Well, our church doesn't have a men's group, or our men need to do more. So we get quite a few contacts just through the ladies organization too.
Very cool. Thanks, Terry. it's fun to see you light up when you talk about how men have been changed by men's ministry. That's I can tell that's rewarding for you.
Yeah.
Next, well, my pick then. Let's go to Mark Youngblood.
Well, hello, this is Mark. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm a member of Fellowship Lutheran here in Tulsa. Um, the Arkansas-Oklahoma Synod met this past weekend, and an announcement came out for a new bishop's assistant. Um, it's been vacant for a while. Bishop Becca announced that Jerry Wortley, who's been in Ohio, will be coming here in June. So I've already reached out to him and introduced myself and make an effort to try to meet him and once he gets going here. Of course, he'll spend a lot of his time traveling all the back roads of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Um, the past 2 years, Senate Assembly was here in Tulsa, very conveniently, but it was in Fort Smith this weekend. I didn't go, but I gave them a video to present when they have that time on Saturday mornings. I did that last year also, and it had way more impact than anything I had to say. So um, I would encourage use of social media. The Synod here will share things on Facebook very easily. I've done that recently. Um, so I look for those type of things. As far as what the men's group is doing, they're going fishing late next week down in Lake Texoma. It's an annual trip. Of course, they get a couple of tour guides to help them catch their limit for the 3 days or so that they're there. They bring the fish back and they freeze them, and they're pulled out in September when programs start up, and we have a big fish fry.
Mm.
Um, Next Saturday would normally be the second of the month when the men's group meets. I don't know for sure what the plans are this time. Perhaps they'll meet the next Saturday. Uh, the group meets and has a big breakfast the second Saturday of each month, and it's usually based on whatever the church chooses for the mission. Um, I'd mentioned before, some of you, Fellowship has a large Hispanic congregation. It's sort of been a mission. It has its own pastor. If you look at the church, it has three expressions. It's got a traditional service, contemporary service, and then the Hispanic service. Well, there's going to be a congregational vote to actually merge both congregations at the end of the month. So there's an emphasis on having bilingual information out there for uh, to benefit the Hispanic congregation. Um, Say on Pentecost Sunday will be the 50th anniversary of the church. So the three expressions will have one service instead of three. And we'll have a really big lunch after that. A lot of it provided by the Hispanic congregation. It's really wonderful. Um,
I can tell you from San Antonio, the Hispanic people know how to cook.
I'm sort of ecumenical. I grew up Methodist. I've spent time in an Episcopal church here also. Um, they have what's called the Brotherhood of St. Andrew, and it's well organized here in Tulsa and Oklahoma. And there's been occasions I go on their retreats, and I actually did that this past Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They have a lovely retreat center in central Oklahoma. So it gives me the idea that we really need to try to do something synod wide to organize a retreat. And so that's on my mind.
That's great. And in fact, we might be tapping you on the shoulder to reach out to some of those other denominations since you have some connections there. That would be wonderful as well.
If you ever have a chance to look at the Saint Brotherhood of Saint Andrew website, check out their newsletter, see what they're doing. There was one time I shared an article with you guys. It's been several years, but I haven't seen it in a while because I quit paying the dues. They have annual dues for everybody that participates. There's maybe a couple of dozen in at St. John's Episcopal, and they all pay their annual dues, and some of that goes to national. So there's a seed for you.
Good.
Mark, if
Good.
it helps you, LMM partners with St. Andrews with Project 12. The director and the former director I meet with at least once a month. They're a really good group of guys. We're sharing a bunch of stuff back and forth on a regular basis. We just don't relabel it with things.
Right. What's our friend in Columbia, South Carolina that was just ordained?
Kevin?
Kevin.
Kevin Burke?
I'm sorry, say again?
Kevin Burke?
Yeah, Kevin. It's been 3 years or so. I had him be the speaker at a meeting for the men on a Saturday morning. So maybe I can organize that kind of thing again.
Well, we got plenty of speakers if you need them.
Okay, I'll take that offer.
Mark, are you going fishing?
I can't handle the sun.
Oh,
I
okay.
really can't, but I can sure help them eat the fish.
That's great. You can continue fishing for men, Mark. That's your role.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Dave,
Thank you.
one other thing, like Mark had mentioned about a bishop election. We have a new bishop also, Bishop Emily Hartner. She's in her first year now. She attended our state gathering, and also part of the Lutheran Men is the Home Mission Foundation. And she has attended a couple of our meetings, and I've had a chance to talk with her personally, and she has said, I knew about the Home Mission Foundation and I knew about the Lutheran Men here in North Carolina. But she said, I am really being enlightened by, what she's seeing by being at the gathering. Plus, she's attended two other meetings with us. And so I can see that she seems to be one that's going to really be supportive of us, and she's already showed it by her actions. And of course, the Synod, they help us out with publications whenever we present that. But one other ministry that we have that has sort of taken off again, we've had it for a lot of years, but we had a devotional book called Strength for Service to God and Country, which was for military personnel. And we also got a new devotional booklet for God and community for first responders. But we have already, I think, distributed probably about 50 of the devotionals within the last 2 months. And that is through the different contacts that has become aware of it, but yet Fort Bragg is located here in North Carolina, and that's the home of the 82nd Airborne Division. And up on their deployment, St. James Lutheran Church, which is in Fayetteville, North Carolina, they requested 20 of the military devotionals, and they have a lot of military people to come in and out of their congregation. Some of them retirees, and others are on base, plus transits coming in and out. So they have started getting those military booklets there. So that's a new ministry. It's an old ministry, but it's one that's kind of getting rejuvenated here with all the different things happening in our world today. So we're glad we can help out in that little way by providing those devotional booklets.
Yeah, very timely. Thanks, Terry. Lawn bus.
Yeah, hi guys. Lon Bus, originally from Wisconsin, currently Florida resident, snowbird heading to Minnesota this Friday for the summer and helping the Southeast Minnesota men uh, run a retreat, one that originally was going to be a 1 year to live retreat, but due to various circumstances, we've repurposed it to be an alumni retreat, a 1 year to live alumni retreat, and we're going to be piloting the new mini retreat and wrap a whole bunch of stuff around it to spread it out from Friday night to Sunday morning with a worship. Pastor Pete's going to be our worship leader. We're going to do, it's kind of laid back time to just enjoy each other using the theme of refresh and reconnect, reconnect and refresh and re-energize. So that's what we're doing there. Also, being down in Florida, I'm working with Luther Springs, which is affiliated with Luther Ridge, and we're going to be doing that same retreat piloting on a weekend in November. Um, and Kevin Burke's going to come down and help me with that retreat. The executive director, Sue Mendenhall's actually volunteering some of her young staff, which was exciting to hear her say, "Yeah, I'd like to hit the activity portions. I'd like to incorporate our counselors, a couple counselors from the summer, and have them come back because they're probably in college or whatever, come back and work with you guys so that they can experience and what Luther Men and Mission's about." And it's like, hey, fantastic. That's you're talking my language there. Whatever, whenever we can involve multiple generations and interacting. So, um, looking forward to those couple events. So that's all I have for now. Thanks.
Thanks, Lon. Travel safe.
Appreciate it.
Vic Williams.
Hey guys, Vic Williams, Reno, Nevada, Lutheran Church of the Good Shepherd. As uh, as Dave mentioned, we did have our board meeting. We had do two in-person board meetings per year. We had our latest one in Chicago last week. It was awesome. We have so much in the hopper for on a national level, and it trickles down to the local level, including a 1 day, basically a 4 hour quote unquote retreat in a box that is hopefully lights the fire under guys to go deeper in subsequent retreats leading up to 1 year to live. That's the idea. John Sundquist is working on some additional 4 hour retreats that will roll out later in the year. And we're also talking about doing a 1 day, quote unquote, 12-hour retreat. We've got some ideas for that. So all this obviously is designed to be used at the local level by men's groups from coast to coast. Here at our church, we have a vibrant men's group. We have a monthly breakfast next week is our next one, next Saturday. I'll be cooking breakfast for that one. We have a rotating group of guys who do that and also active speakers. And we're also hoping to work with another local ELCA church here to get that 4 hour retreat going later this year, probably in the fall, with hopes of doing our first 1 year to live retreat in quite a while, in about 9 years. We did one fall of 2017 here locally. We're very spread out synod, and it was well attended. So we've got some new growth, some younger guys showing up to church, and we're hoping to get them involved as well. So plus, always sending info to the synod, Sierra Pacific Synod, which is based in California. We're over the mountain from them, but they're very amenable to both running our information on their website and whenever I manage to get it to them through newsletters and, as one gentleman said, social media. So always something going on and just listening to everything going on in other parts of the country. I'm gratified to be part of this, and you guys have given us a lot to live up to. And that's all. It's all good. So thank you.
Thank you for all you do, Vic. John Sundquist.
Um, I would add to what Vic just said, that retreat will be available nationwide June 1st. We also have the new men's leadership guide, which is a how to walk you through starting a men's group, also be available June 1st. And we're excited to announce the first cohort for a men's discipleship specialist program is going to be launching here in the next couple of weeks. So look forward to end of the summer for the next cohort to be announced so that you all can be part of it. It's a partnership between LMM and Luther Seminary in Minneapolis doing online training on how to be the discipleship guy for your church and also for the churches around you. That's probably an oversimplification for it, but it's a good way of describing it. On a personal level, I'm excited. We have 7 kids in confirmation. I can never remember the noun of someone going through confirmation. It's not the word that comes to mind. I know that. Um, in our men's group, uh, everyone was given a piece of paper with one of the kids' names on it. So each kid is having 7 to 8 guys praying for them for the next 3 weeks as they enter into confirmation. It the men's group has never really reached out and done that kind of a intentional prayer effort. Um, but we brought it up one Tuesday morning, and one of the old birds immediately responded, "Why haven't we done that before?" Which ironically cracked me up, going, "It's a good question. Why haven't you? You have 50 plus guys that gather every week. Wouldn't it make sense to pray for the next generation?" But I did not say that. It did cross my mind. Um, but that's exciting. And it goes along with a bunch of stuff we've done. I've shared with you before that we've got our young men meeting bi-weekly outside around the campfire, and that's growing and expanding. Um, but on a national level, I'm very excited about what we have running. I hope to have one, if not two more, for our retreats out by the end of the year. Now that we've got the format and it's been proven to work, Lon and his guys are going to work out a few kinks, and a couple of other folks are going to help us make sure that we got everything ironed out. Um, I hope we can start knocking them out in a fairly quick order. The board gave me 9 ideas, so in theory, there's 9 more coming out. And I'm sure I'll get more as I start going through it and as we keep talking about it. Uh, but if you're interested, just drop me an email. I'm happy to give you the unedited version, or hopefully, if you wait a week, the edited version with the cleaned up mistakes I caught when we went through it the last time. Um, Spelling is never my strong suit. Um, and punctuation is even worse. And as we were going through it, I'm like, some of these sentences really don't make sense. Um, they're they work for guys because we don't always read what we're reading. But if you actually read them in detail, you kind of go, something's missing here. So we're fixing those, and that'll be ready to go. My hope is by Friday of this week. Um, but it's an exciting time, and I bless you all for the work you're doing. It has never been more important to be reaching men for Christ as it is right now.
Thank you, John. Lon Bus.
Yeah, thanks for allowing me to just supplement. Even though I wasn't in southeastern Minnesota, I'm part of their team there, and those guys hosted what they've been doing for almost 25 years at the synod level, a breakfast with the bishop where they meet at what is now Bass Pro Shops. It was Cabela's, and they meet in a meeting room there. So really a guy place to come. And there were about 40 people there. They had a guest speaker. Last year, John Sundquist was there. This year, it was a meteorologist, a local TV meteorologist that's also an inspirational writer and discussed things like that. And Jan Nelson came from the neighboring Synod who he's part of the fund development team of LMM, and he shared word from the LMM leadership, and so it was a great joint effort there, and just look forward to doing those kind of things in the future. So, thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you to all of you for sharing what your men's ministry is up to. Like I said, that's the reason we record this is to share these ideas. So I hope other people can benefit from some of the things they heard here tonight. Okay, the main event is to share the upcoming ambassadorgram, which will be coming out to you uh, probably after lunch tomorrow. So the point is, if anybody asks you questions about what in the world do you see on this ambassadorgram, maybe tonight we can give you some answers and clear up any confusion. But the spring ambassadorgram starts with a notice, and all of you on this screen for sure are invited to join us June 2, 7 p.m. for a Zoom LMM annual meeting. It's a great way to get caught up with what aspects LMM is up to, and as well as the official business of electing officers and continuing the charter of Lutheran Men in Mission. So June 2, 7 p.m. Hope you can join us Central Time. Correct me if I'm wrong, John, Vic. There will be a link on the website coming up before the event. So you can check that out on the LMM webpage. Speaking of the webpage, hallelujah, you can now get there easier by just typing in lmm.men instead of laboriously going through Lutheran Men in Mission. So that's a big upgrade for us. And secondly, speaking of the website, the 2026 LMM greeting video is now on the webpage. Mark, I'm sorry I wasn't there for you last weekend. I did see the video you used, Mark. It was also very good. So, but any men who are at a presentation or an assembly or gathering, this video is designed for you to show, to summarize what LMM is up to. It's very short, 3 minutes at the most, I believe. Anything else from any of you guys that are on this video that you wanted to share? Thank
All,
you.
all I would say is our goal is always to put together a video that will capture a little bit of attention and give a quick overview on what we're doing. And this year, you get more than just my dulcet monotone. Uh, there's a whole group of us on there. And I hope as we go forward, we can get more and more guys to be part of it. Being a denominational kid for most of my life, I know how tiring it is to always hear the same thing. Um, I know that growing up, you hear a bishop, 7 times, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, it's him again." Um, so we're trying to change it up. So if you have any ideas, feel free to drop them to Vic or myself. We're more than happy to take them and fool around with them and see what we come up with.
You guys set the bar pretty high this year. I'm not sure if all of us could meet that level of enthusiasm. So good job on that. Next, as John mentioned already, we have a LMM discipleship course. Joshua Ford has been working really hard on this. Wonderful member of the board. And I'm very anxious to see what this is going to be like. A 12-session online course for discipleship. Perfect, uh, perfect offering from Lutheran Men in Mission. I have to say that it meshes very well with our mission. So we'll see how it turns out. This first cohort is full, but you can click right here and you can get your name in the hat for the next cohort, as John mentioned, later this summer. Two other things that we've already mentioned tonight. There will be a new revised men's ministry leaders guide. Vic, you want to tell them how they can access that?
Yeah, I'm working right now on setting it up on Amazon as a 6x9 downloadable book or print on demand book. I still need to jump through some hoops as far as copyright goes and then set it up. It's pretty much ready to go. It shouldn't take me very long to actually make it live once I have it up on the Amazon custom publishing site. So at that point, we'll have a link for guys and guys groups to access it. There will be a nominal charge for a printed copy, or somebody wants to provide their guys with printed copies, or current or prospective leaders with printed copies. That'll be doable. Um, and also helps out our ministry as well. A little bit of a revenue source. We don't know how exactly how that'll shake out yet, but we're hopeful it'll catch fire and get downloaded at minimum by lots of guys. It's a very good resource. John took the bull by the horns and redid the opening pages of the Builder's Bible, updated language, made it uh, more fitting for today's groups, for today's guys, and we're very excited about it. So June 1st is when it'll be ready, if not before. So we're working on that over the next couple weeks.
Great. Keep checking this website right here, Men's Toolkit. It's a link on the website, and find it through there. A little testimonial. Before I knew any of these people on this screen, this men's ministry leaders guide is how our Zion Lutheran Church men's group got started, by following the step-by-step instructions on this thing. So it is a very valid document, especially if you're trying to perk up your men's group. Secondly, there's this mini retreat you've been hearing about is called a 2x4 mini retreat. John, you want to explain some of that?
Sorry, I keep muting myself because I don't want to be coughing in your ears. Yeah, we started a conversation a little over 6 months ago at the last national board meeting about putting together a stepping stone to lead guys up to a 1 year to live. We had a number of churches that had said what we need is a half-day retreat. Um, so we again took the bull by the horns. And it started with let's do a retreat on Christ and discipleship and what that means for practical day-to-day stuff. So I wrote a retreat, uh, painstakingly at times, but excitingly at others, starting with Christ in the temple and ending in Acts with Peter and John, that walks you through, why people go to church. How do you disciple like Christ discipled? What is the call that each of us have to live? And then what does that look like when guys actually put it into practice? Um, Along with it, there's a couple of group building activities that you can use or repurpose depending on your environment. But the idea was to give a retreat that a church could take with no effort, no real preparation, uh, and bring guys through a half day moment together that would build not only camaraderie in the church, but bridge the generations. Um, and 2x4, and I don't say this even remotely tongue in cheek, came out of the first time it was brought up to me when a gentleman said, "We really need a 2x4 to knock people over the heads to realize this is important." And they can write their names on it afterwards. Um, and it just stuck in my head as I flew home. Um, what a guy thing to say and how appropriate. Every church I've been involved in, the men tend to just do work projects or breakfast. That's a nice place to start, but that's not men's ministry. Men's ministry happens when you start dwelling deeper together in the word and you start building each other up and seeking out new men for Christ. Uh, all I could see was my high school principal, whose first day of school walked in with a Louisville Slugger that he had sanded down to a 1 inch plank. Um, Former Green Beret officer who decided to go into high school and slapping it against the bench in the gym, and it reverberated. And I don't know about the women, but every guy in that room snapped to attention. Um, even the guys that you would not think would respond to something. Uh, and I started writing it out of that mentality. How do you get guys together just to start growing? Um, so there's four each retreat. This one going forward will be 4 sessions with a little bit of activity in the middle of it. I'll shift them up so that as you get through them, it's not, the same games. Um, but our hope is that in the end, we will have a very large number of small retreats that you can mix and match and use as you want under the 2x4 header, but each one will have a different subtitle, which may change. I'm just saying that now because the more I think this through, the more my creative juices get flowing. And you can't just have one study on Jesus. So uh, we're going to keep working on them. And in the end, I, th- my real prayer is that we will have enough of these mini retreats that every men's group in America can go, we want to knock one out once a month and never do the same thing and be able to do that with the communal memory that doesn't last longer than, 18 months. Um, as a lead up to what I hope will be a good 12-hour retreat, we're trying to find a couple right now of guys across the country that are willing to tackle that endeavor. Um, but with the final intent of bringing churches and synods into a 1 year to live retreat relationship. Because if you've not experienced it, you should. If you have experienced it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, but it may be the most transformational moment most men will ever experience when it comes to the living Lord.
And that's 1 year to live, which is you spend 2 nights, two overnights. It's a whole weekend thing.
Yeah, it's Lon, help me out. Not 48, 42 hours,
Yeah,
give or
yeah, that's about right.
it's
And
just shy of 2 full days. Though when you get home, you will have thought you have spent a week.
and it also is moderated by someone named a platform leader, right? Which is usually an outside guy, whereas these 2x4s are designed for local clergy.
They're designed for anybody. I mean, any one of you can pick it up and run it. Um, I don't give you the answers because where's the fun in that? Um, but you get the scripture, you get the introduction, so you have the starting point on where and why, and then you have questions. And the questions are designed specifically for conversation and interpersonal relationship and growth. And I learned ages ago, if you want to get deep in faith, don't ask the preacher, ask the guys at the table. You're not going to get necessarily the best theology, but you will definitely walk away learning something.
All right. Thank you, John. Okay, moving on. The next piece is about an estate gift planning overview sponsored by LMM. Lon, would you like to address this one?
Sure, I can help out with that. Lutheran Men Mission has been focusing with we started with the Hal Derrick Memorial Initiative to raise the awareness of the value and the importance of estate gifts. And from that, that was successful, but we realized there was a lot to learn and a lot to share um, about estate gifts and ideas and ways to do it. There's going to be 3 Zoom calls. This one in May, another one in June, and one in September. This is the overview. Our guest on that will be Ted Rogers from the focus group to share his experience and knowledge. And it's not only meant for if somebody's interested in involving or including Lutheran Men and Mission in their legacy estate gifts, but any other nonprofit or church too. It'll just by sharing these ideas. And so it's almost like we're providing a service to our partners as well as their spouses and their families. We'd like to, as much as possible, also invite guys to include their spouses. If all goes as planned, these will be recorded and archived. Uh, but it's important also to have um, people there on the call. And we're asking the way the Zoom link will be distributed is by guys hitting that registration link and fill out a short form with your name and email and phone number and that kind of stuff, so that we'll send the link out um, the week before the call. But important, we labeled this one overview so that people realize, this is the starter, and we'll get more deeper. The second one will involve IRAs, using IRAs for legacy gifts, and then the last, as well as current giving, and then the last one will be all other kinds of ways to provide estate gifts uh, to charities you have a heart for. So. John, did I cover that okay? Do you have anything to add to it?
Nope, you did it really well.
All right, thank
I'll
you.
just reiterate, it's not about giving to LMM though. Um, your contributions are greatly needed and appreciated. Um, when I was pastoring, one of the things that I discovered is so many people don't think about what they're going to leave as testimony and what they can do as they leave the world where they don't need it anymore, um, to make a difference. And our hope is that by offering this, we can help just educate folks that there's a way to do things that just will transform not only the things you care about, but also leave a lasting impression. When I was a development officer, I used to joke that the last thing you get to say to those you love is what you do in your estate. Because after you've passed and after the funeral's been done and they start going through everything, all of a sudden you have an opportunity to say, I am leaving blank to this because. And I know in my wife and my estate, someday my son's going to be like, you can't be serious. Um, because we point and blank said, um, you need to support these ministries because without these ministries, we would not be who we are today. Um, and those are important things to say, particularly as our age increases and our children and our heirs multiply, sometimes exponentially, whether we want them to or not. It's a good way to share your faith and your testimony in that point of life.
So I will remind you that it is just a week from this Tuesday, so get registered, get the link, and we'll you'll it'll be well worth your time.
So I'm assuming this is free.
Yes, it is free.
That's pretty cool. A lot of people pay for this kind of advice. So thank you. The LMM Newsletter Foundations comes out quarterly, and the spring issue just came out, what, Vic, about a month ago?
Yeah, came out right at Easter week. Next one will be in the summertime, probably in July. Um, and again, I say this every time we have this meeting, but George, Mark, anybody, Terry, Terry was kind enough to mention that we featured their annual meeting in the last one. I'm always looking for great stories. So if you have you talked about what your men's groups are doing, and if you feel the calling, you feel the spirit moving you to write something up, or ask me to help you write it up, I'd be happy to do that. Just drop me an email, and I'd love to tell your story for other guys around the country.
Well, Vic, it's George, and a couple years ago, I think you were kind and helped me also put together an article about our men's
Yep.
group.
Yep.
and that got a lot of good press. And so, again, like the other gentleman, thank you for that.
Yeah, and again, the offer stands. You guys are doing some great work, so would love to feature whenever you like.
Share
Thank
the
you.
wealth. Share the wealth.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Vic.
Yeah.
1 year to live. Correct me if I'm mistaken, Lon, but the next one is going to be in October.
Yeah, and I just got word 2 hours ago. We've got another one on the books for September 18th through the 20th at Tracy's Camp in Pinewood, South Carolina. I don't know if you have the energy and time to update this slide. We won't fix the PDF versions, but if you want to add that, I sent you an email because you're also, gentlemen, Dave Newman didn't realize it, but he was going to become an app updater too when he took this on. So Dave updates our LMM app with these retreats as well.
I wish I got more heads for all the hats I'm wearing.
Welcome to the world of LMM. We just need to
Yes,
find more heads
yes.
and more bodies for our teams.
If you
Which you
haven't,
all are welcome to help us in whatever way you can at the next level.
if you guys haven't experienced a 1 year live retreat, you should make a point to do it and try to take one home with you to your local area. It's a wonderful way to build disciples. It's a great weekend. Project 12 is still here, as always, as a wonderful resource for men and men's ministry. Uh, there is always John's Thursday evening Bible study. I'm not able to join every week. I try to get in as often as I can. And then Kevin Burke does a Tuesday night book discussion over some what sound like very interesting books. So those are always available to any men. It's interesting to see who tunes in, actually. It's very, um, they have quite a camaraderie, even though it's via Zoom. And maybe some men don't think that that's real. It's amazing what kind of relationships pop up on Zoom meetings. Um, so, anyway, those are always available to anybody. Questions? Does your congregation have a men's group? Let me know about that. That's the extent of our ambassadorgram this quarter. I would urge you to take all this off before you forward the ambassadorgram because we don't want you to be unsubscribed accidentally by one of your contacts. So just delete all that part down there. Like I said, this will be coming to you in two emails tomorrow. I know it's confusing. The first one comes to you directly from Constant Contact, just like this. And then the second one is a personal email that I will send you with this, and it will include a link to this in case this is too unwieldy for your Senate offices to deal with. It'll include a PDF version that Lon has crafted for us. And it will also include a link to the LMM webpage where these are archived and people can access them there as well. If you would love, if, excuse me, I would love if you would reach out to your own Senate offices and see if they also will broadcast this. I think everybody on the screen has a wonderful relationship with their Senate office. So unless you tell me differently, I'm going to stay away from that and I'm going to let you be the ambassador with your Senate office. Most of you are doing that already. Um, Anything else about the ambassadorgram?
Dave, could you mention that we also have a version of the PDF version in Word for their personal use?
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know
in
if you
fact,
can allow me to share or
let me stop sharing this. That leads right into my next thing, Lon. Let me open up with this. For those of you going to Senate assemblies or going to any sort of a gathering, we do have a display kit for you. You probably heard me mention that before. And part of it is what Lon's talking about. Go ahead, Lon. You want to share?
okay. I had stuff on. So when I was doing the synod type events, people asked me for a business card. Well, I started creating this. This is my business card when I go to events. It's basically reformatting the constant contact version to a one-page flyer suitable for bulletin board material, but also you'll notice that Dave's contact information is down here. Well, if you're at people at these Synod events don't know who Dave is. So Dave, we don't like putting this out unless you request if you guys request to Dave, he'll send you the Word version and you can put your contact information down here, your phone number, your email, so that they know how to get back a hold of you. So, and of course, when it's paper, they're not going to be able to use the clicks, the links, but all these are set up to be um, there are hyperlinks for if people do get the electronic version. So try to keep this to one page as much as possible. Well, it will only be one page for print purposes. But thanks.
Thank you, Lon. That's a lot of stuff to squeeze onto one 8.5 by 11. You do an amazing job with that.
Well, people said I know how to pile crap about 5 foot 11 inches high. I cleaned that up.
Uh, um, maybe we're just too busy. Maybe there's just too much LMM stuff.
Oh no.
We should hold
Blessings.
back so it can all fit on one sheet. Anything else? Questions, comments, um, whatever. It looks like we lost George. Um,
George chatted. He had to jump.
okay. So I'm going to offer a prayer to close this out. But first, if you are a netcaster, if you are someone who is interested in fishing for more men, I would like you to hold on for a second after the prayer and we'll address that for briefly. So if you'd bow your heads, please. Thank you, Lord, for the fellowship tonight. Thank you for allowing me to express your work through my mother to the men on this screen. Thank you for all of their intentional discipling, and send your spirit to each of us to empower us to carry out your will to build bold, daring followers of Jesus Christ. In your son's name, amen. Thank you, guys. All right. So anyway, netcasters, hang on. The rest of you, thanks so much. The ambassadorgram will be coming out tomorrow. I know George tells me that he does not want to be a netcaster, so that's okay. Because of this meeting tonight, the netcasters are not going to have their bi-monthly meeting this month. And I wanted to just touch base with particularly Lon and Terry. Any new contacts or new initiatives to find new contacts that you have come across? I have one thing that Pastor
Dave, before you go too far, you may want to turn record off.
okay, I'll stop the recording.
And I'm going to let Dave take the meeting. As I mentioned earlier when we got started, my mom has had a week